Hello, gentlemen and ladies. My name is MIGABO, also known as MIGABO Pantela, and I'm a Rwandan writer. I'm currently doing my bachelor's degree at Southern New Hampshire University through Kepler. I'm also a person who loves his culture and mother tongue, which is Kinyarwanda. So who among you is Rwandan? Yeah, I can see you Rwandans there. Today, I want to talk about Rwandan cultural heritage. Cultural heritage can be described as tangible and intangible heritage assets of a group or a society that is inherited from past generations. So that's the reason why our topic is, the title of our topic is Cultural Heritage, Education and Language, very crucial, language erosion in Contemporary Rwandan Society. Allow me to repeat this title: Cultural Heritage, Education and Language Erosion in Contemporary Rwandan Society. So basically, we'll be talking about how Rwandan culture and language are eroding in this modern society. Let's kick off with an example. Levin, an 8-year-old daughter of a businessman in Kigali, has studied in excellent schools and speaks English and French like a native speaker. When she and her family went to a village in Kibungo to visit her grandmother, she found it hard to communicate with her grandmother, who only speaks Kinyarwanda. In addition, Levin refused to eat the food that her grandmother prepared for them since it looked very unfamiliar to her. Her grandmother tried to tell her folk tales of Bakame, but Levin was very busy playing video games on her phone and listening to music with her earphones, so she don't want to listen to her grandmother. They don't even speak the same language. This made her grandmother very sad, and she started questioning if her grandchild is really a Rwandan. Levin is not the only child who has been detached from her cultural roots. Contemporary Rwanda faces a critical challenge of language and cultural erosion, driven by modernization and changing lifestyles in this modern world. To elaborate, many parents, let me repeat again, many parents aiming to provide their offsprings with a competitive edge in this globalized world often teach their children foreign languages such as English and French from a very young age. So if you go to visit them, they'll only be speaking English or French at home, so that their children can master those languages at a very young age, which is not that very bad, but if you think, is a very dangerous thing. This shift from mother tongue to foreign languages and adopting Western lifestyles and values, which is more Westernization, as we said, contribute to the decline of some crucial cultural norms that are rooted in our Kinyarwanda language. Drawing inspiration from Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, we are going to explore approaches needed to restore and preserve Rwandan language and cultural heritage. So, we are going to focus on 3 things. Mainly, the first thing is that Rwanda can overcome the challenge of language erosion and cultural preservation by reminding ourselves as parents to teach our children their mother tongue and culture at a young age. So the first part is for parents. The second one, by reflecting and enhancing our cultural heritage and language knowledge as adults. So the second part is for adults in general. And the third one is enforcing Kinyarwanda language in every school in the country and in all academic levels. To begin with, Rwanda can overcome the challenge of language erosion and cultural preservation by reminding ourselves as parents to teach our children their mother tongue and culture at a young age, like since their birth or even before they are born. This is because Rwandan children used to learn about their culture through folk tales, proverbs, tongue twisters, taboos, Remember the taboos we used to be taught, like if you jump over a cooking stove, you're not going to grow up. It may sound funny, but that taboo was very necessary because it taught children to respect the cooking stove, like where the food is cooked, so that they won't jump over food. So that was actually very necessary. There are also folklores and other storytelling activities which were the foundation of our culture. Moreover, they learned the names of objects, animals, and places in their mother tongue, which nurtured a profound connection to their heritage. On the other hand, in our contemporary Rwanda, children are increasingly being disconnected from these cultural roots. They engage more with their phones, tablets, computers, television programs that are even in foreign languages since their birth. One illustration we can use is from Things Fall Apart, because this book is very necessary when we come to culture. Things Fall Apart provides invaluable insights into the consequences of cultural erosion and the loss of language. The novel's protagonist, Okonko, if you read the book, you may be aware of Okonko, grapples with preserving his cultural norms and values of Igbo society in the face of colonial influence. With the introduction of white people, Okonko's son Noye abandons his society and culture when he goes to a foreign school and starts learning foreign languages. When Noye is seen in Umofia later on, Noye is no longer interested in his father's tradition. So this caused depression to his father Okonko, who was trying to fight for his culture and his people. So Okonko's commitment to upholding tradition serves as a reminder for us for a significance of cultural identity and linguistic preservation. So do we want our children in the future to be like Noye and abandon all Rwandan traditions and become Western people? Therefore, parents should take the first step to preserve our cultural heritage. They should speak their mother tongues at home. If they want to teach foreign languages to their children, that's good. But first of all, they should teach their children their mother tongue before any language, so that they can be connected to their cultural roots. The second thing, as we said, adults in Rwanda have to reflect on their own cultural heritage and enhance their knowledge in languages, especially in Kinyarwanda language. So cultural degradation in adults has been very rising in the past decades, of course due to education and modernization. So to many people, cultural norms such as discipline, kindness, empathy, unity, respect for elders have been forgotten. The erosion language and cultural practices is further accelerated by adoption of self-centered attitudes that are rooted in modern languages like English and French. Those attitudes really diminish our sense of community and shared values. Let me give you an example. Any one of you who can tell me the respectable way of addressing another person in English? How do we respect someone in English? You say you, how are you? You, come here. So, what is the respectable personal pronoun there? If I want to say to a child, if I want to speak to a child, I'll say you. If I want to speak to my grandmother, I'll say you. There's no way to respect someone in English. Another clear illustration of this cultural shift is the dying customs of basic social interactions. In the past, Rwandans, regardless of their age, would greet each other with respect and kindness. However, in today's urban Rwanda, it's not uncommon to witness people pass each other without even saying a simple greeting, saying hello, ngaramutse, niwe. Person will pass you or will come where you're sitting and sit near you, but they won't say anything. Why? In our Rwandan culture, we're supposed to say hello. You see a very young and strong person refuse to give a simple bus seat to an elderly person who is struggling to get somewhere in a bus. Remember that in our culture, young people are supposed to give seats to old people before being asked to. So how is this connected to language erosion? Those values, we used to learn them in our Kinyarwanda language. But now, since most of us do not know the language, we are not going to know those values. So if children learn from adults, what are we teaching our children? An example from Things Fall Apart is when Umofia is preparing. Umofia is the village in Things Fall Apart, is preparing for the feast of the New Yam, which is a very significant event in Igbo culture. The feast is attended by the entire community, and it marks the beginning of a new agricultural season. So what I want you to pay attention to is during this celebration, the elders are given a place of honor, and chief priestess address them with great respect. So this illustration shows us how the respect for elders is very valuable in all African societies. Therefore, adult people should reflect on their cultural heritage and see if they still uphold their cultural heritage. This is very necessary because future generations will learn from present generations. So future generations are our children. We are the present generations. We will learn and teach our children, and then our children will teach their children, so that we can keep our culture and our language. The third thing that we're going to talk about is the government's part. So the government should enforce Kinyarwanda language in every school in the country and in all academic levels. Early childhood education in mother tongue is very essential. In Rwanda, introducing Kinyarwanda studies into curriculum at an early stage can instill a strong foundation in linguistic and cultural pride. So what I'm saying is not only about learning Kinyarwanda vocabulary and learning how to speak, no, also learning Rwandan culture at school so that children can know what is done in Rwanda, what are the Rwandans supposed to do, what shows me as a Rwandan to other people. This is due to the fact that when you teach children their native language and their traditions, they develop a deep connection to their heritage, much more like how children in Things Fall Apart steeped in their Igbo customs. In the novel, we see that children are taught their culture by their mothers. Through oral traditions and storytelling, they are told stories by their mothers before they go to sleep, and elders, their grandparents, also tell them different stories, so that the cultural heritages and the regions of their grandparents will be kept through those stories. So children are exposed to their mother tongue at a very young age. Those stories not only entertain, but also serve as an educational tool, instilling a deep connection to the community heritage. Additionally, they participate in events, rituals, and ceremonies where they witness engaged traditional practices. So, from nursery schools to universities, Kinyarwanda should be incorporated in the curriculum as a mandatory language and a mandatory lesson to learn. And also, children should know that their mother tongue is more important than other lessons, such as physics, chemistry, mathematics, that their mother tongue is the most important lesson they have to learn. So, do you remember what we studied in history courses in secondary schools, where we learned the Egyptian civilization, American Revolution, the Great Britain? But we can remember most of that, but can you tell at least the last 5 kings of Rwanda? You can't, because we didn't learn our history in particular. So, if we learn our mother language, if we can speak, no matter how many languages we can speak, but we can't speak our mother language, that is enslavement. But if we can speak our mother languages and add other languages, that is empowerment. So, to conclude, let's wrap up of what we have talked about. So we have talked about 3 most important things in our culture, like 3 most important things we should do. First of all, parents should teach children their mother tongue. Second, the adults should reflect on their cultural heritage. And third, the government should enforce teaching children their mother tongue and culture at a young age. They say in my mother tongue that agahugu katagira umuco karacika, which means a country without a culture vanishes. So, dear Rwandans, let's protect our cultural heritage. Thank you for being with me today.